Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Shiny Entertaining Live. I should do like a Saturday Night Live thing where I go, hey, this is Saturday Night. You know that Saturday Night Live intro? This is Shiny Night Live. Maybe I shouldn't. Yeah. Saturday Night Live thing. Where I go. So there we go. I gotta quiet my big mouth. Hey guys. So maybe I should wait for a few people. Welcome to Shane's World. Yeah, right. Okay. As if not. I haven't done a Star Wars video in a while. I figured it's time. It's time to bring out the Star Wars. The Force is strong in me. And I think a lot of people still kind of want to discuss this topic. And I want to discuss different topics about Star Wars, but before, like, I'll wait some time so I don't have to keep repeating myself. But there's like Twitter's kind of gotten me. I haven't been on Twitter for a long time, and I just started getting on Twitter because people said you should get on Twitter, and so I did. And I realized it actually helps. It does help. So if anybody, people who said go on Twitter, thank you for that. Yeah, that bit of information. I mean, I know people have said that before, but I just like, I don't know about Twitter. I was always afraid, but like, it's not so bad. You keep to yourself. You don't cause any trouble. You're good, I think. Again, I'm doing my impression of Uncle Billy. I don't know if he'll show up today, guys. I don't know, but maybe he will. We'll find out. But yeah, so I like to see if people are on. I know it's kind of a weird time because this is a Sunday afternoon. People are probably having dinner with their families. Too bad. It's time. It's Shiny entertaining time. It's not time for dinner. No, I'm just kidding. You want to eat? You can eat. But I'm just going to give it a few minutes before I start, or do my rambling about why I decided to do this particular topic about Rey, and why I decided to do this. So on T-minus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I'm just going to do it so you guys can rewatch this and enjoy the goodness. So the other day, I was just trolling through not being a troll, just looking through, like trolling through looking through the old Twitterama, and I'm reading different sites and stuff, and people were like, I watched one interesting thread. I don't even know who it was by, but I just started reading the comments and stuff, and it was about Rey. I think someone said something about Rey being the best developed character in all of Star Wars. and I was just like, huh, what? And then someone on the bottom of the comment said, haha, April Fools. But then the rest of the comments were like, it wasn't April Fools. Like, it was like, that was just somebody saying, haha, April Fools. But then it said, no, really, she really is the best character. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? Why? How is Rey, Mary Sue Rey, the best character in all of Star Wars, the most developed or most realized character in all of Star Wars to these people? And I started reading more and more of their comments on this, and they were like, yeah, no. And then someone said, no, she's a Mary Sue and she's good at everything and all that stuff. And then someone said, with a winky face, and I think the person was sort of like saying no, like that's what everybody else thinks, but they have probably like, I don't even know if it was a guy or girl, but whoever it was liked Rey and said and was so the whole thing. I just kept reading one after the next, and I just kept hearing people like reading how much they love Rey, and I'm just thinking to myself, but they never said why, and that's what kind of got me, and that's what made me want to do this, because I want people to understand. That's why I wanted people to join me on this, and I know no one's going to join me because everyone's having dinner. It's Sunday, but I just couldn't wait. I'm kind of bored at home, so decided my wife is with the folks, and so I decided to put on a live stream and do this discussion. Whatever happens, happens. But yeah, why? Why do people still like Rey? And here's the thing: none of the people in that discussion were actually talking about why they liked Rey. It was just, I like Rey. She's so realized. She's great. She's awesome. She's so good. I love her. She's amazing. And I'm just thinking, why? What makes her all of these things? And then I started questioning myself because I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not seeing it from a specific perspective. Hey, Death by Saber, how's it going, bud? Why are people not realizing, you know, what am I not seeing that these guys are seeing? You get what I'm trying to say? Because like you start questioning your own reasoning. Because I'm like, but they wouldn't say why. So this is what bothered me. Is like I'm trying to figure out why they like Rey, but they won't tell me. They won't say anything. They just keep saying she's amazing, she's awesome, and she's great. And I just trying to figure out, okay, there's got to be some logic to this. There's got to be some Rey logic. It's got to be something that people are latching on. And I'm trying, like, I do this often. I try to see things from other perspectives, just to see, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I can change. Maybe you could see the light of day. It would be awesome because I started thinking maybe I could enjoy Star Wars again if I could find something to like about Rey. Which probably not, because they still ruin Luke. But but I still want to, like, you can latch onto something and say, like, maybe I could find some reason. Maybe there's some hidden gem, some nugget that is in the Rey character that I'm not seeing, that I haven't been seeing this whole time, that's just hiding in there. That's like, you know, some genius at work that I just can't see because my brain is too pee-wee sized to figure it all out. And everybody else is wrong too, apparently. So I'm trying to figure this out, and so no one would say anything. So I had to go into my own brain and remember her character from The Force Awakens. So I had to go, okay, let's go back to The Force Awakens. They obviously fell in love with her there, and they just held on to that love. So, okay, so this is what I tried to do, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm looking through the Rey character in my mind. You know, okay, so I go back to the opening sequence of where we meet Rey, and she opens out pretty awesome. I will say this. I like where we see the first scene where we see Rey, and she's like with those steampunk goggle things on, and she got her face is covered. I love that sequence where she's rummaging through things, and even that whole scene where she's scavenging, and then she takes that little speeder bike, and she's like, you see kind of, you go through the daily activities of her routine, where she goes and gets the portions from that portions guy. You know, that guy is like 100 portions, right? And she's like, you know, gets this little, I don't know what it was, like a hockey puck of food, which looked like a rice cake until she heated it up. I don't even know. It looked kind of oddly tasty and horrible at the same time. I don't know why, but I wanted that. I wanted to try that. Let me know if anybody knows that do they actually sell those cups somewhere? I'm sure Lucasfilm should profit on that. Just make those portions like portion crackers, you know, Force Awakens portion crackers, and just like sit there, people eating that and putting it in the hot water. Well, what was that? It was such a weird thing. Anyway, so she gets those portions. Oh, that was like a bun, right? It turned into a bun, like it was like these powder, and it just inflates, looked like sort of like a rice cake or something. Anyway, so that was kind of cool, and I'm like, all right, that's a good intro for her. And you do really like her character. You kind of get the sense that she's she also has that staff that she carries around. And so right away, I'm like, she's so different from Luke in the beginning, because except for her planet, because they threw her in the desert. So right away, your brain instantly thinks Luke, which is what I'm going to go with something on that, because I'm like, they kind of did her wrong. And I'll tell you why. Right. JJ did Rey wrong right off the bat, because they already made you believe, like, kind of associate her with Luke, which they should have never done. They actually should have just kept Rey's character her own thing and given her own planet somewhere completely different from Luke. But they tried to do the rehash thing, and that's, I think, was part of her downfall. Because I think right off the bat, I really liked her character, and what she went through was really cool. And you get the sense that she went through some shit too, because she learned a lot of stuff. She learned how to scavenge. She learned how to fight. She learned how and you kind of get a feel for her being alone in that lonely sense, especially when she's in the desert with the helmet, like that helmet of the, what do you call it? It was almost like the Rebel Alliance helmet that she was wearing. That was a really cool sequence, and I loved that whole scene. But so like there was a lot of things to like about her. right off the bat. The fact that she had her own weapon, which was different from Luke's weapon, also helped kind of distinguish herself from Luke. So guys, I'm trying to figure out what reasons to like Rey, and so this is where I feel like they had us liking her. But see, it was short-lived because once like for me, one of the most underused character for all of them was Finn. Finn was a character that when I heard they were going to actually have a defected stormtrooper, I'm like, wow, that's an incredible. Rey is a cutie. Yeah, she is cute too. You can't go wrong with how cute she was. She was pretty, and I liked her. I had nothing against Daisy. People call her wooden and stuff, but I mean, so was Luke when he first started. He wasn't that great. He was just a kid, so gonna give her a break on that. But only so much. Like I don't, there's still so much to go with. So here she is now. Like she meets Finn, who, like I said, is the most horribly developed character, because I thought that there was something really special about him. The fact that we had never actually seen, and this was JJ's, I think, this is JJ where he set something up so amazing to see a stormtrooper defect and then to kind of just like give us nothing. There was like nothing about that. It was just sort of like dropped. Oh, by the way, remember I was a stormtrooper, and we never really get anything. Hold on. Oh, hey Jung Wong, how you doing? Welcome to my show. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. Like Finn to me, the reason why I'm going on to Finn right now is because Finn meets Rey, and so like the whole thing was like Finn is on. They just did him so wrong. I mean, I would have loved to have seen his backstory, why he turned into why he defected, like not just that one. There had to have been something else, and just like they should have gone more into this training and how his training, and like maybe some of the brainwashing that they did to really affect this character, to maybe develop him a little bit more. But they kind of relegated him to sort of a Jar Jar-esque goofball, which I found was unfair to him. Finn is like the movie Naked Gun. Finn gets by with dumb luck. Well, exactly what everybody does. See, this is one thing I was going to say later on, but I find the problem with all the characters in The Force Awakens, and, well, Force Awakens, we're going to start with that, is that everybody gets by dumb luck. The whole movie is just one dumb luck scene after the next. Ex machina after next knocking after ex machina. Ex machina after ex machina. It was just one after the next. Like they just happened to be here, and then he just happens to see Rey. They just happen to be, the Millennium Falcon just happens to be on her planet. They just happen to take off at the same time as Han Solo just happens to be flying around at the same spot. Everything just happens to be at the same. The lightsaber just happens to be at Maz Kanata's and happens to call to her. Everything just sort of happens to be, and the plot is never driven by anybody's desire or want or will. There's no desire in this. Like where you take the original Star Wars, and the original Star Wars, you had, everything was sort of purposeful. The only happenstance was the droids landing on Tatooine. That was the only happenstance. That was the only sort of accident. But I think they were still actively looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they knew he was there. So they went there. They happened to run into Luke, which that was one other accident. But that was, again, just that first sequence had it. But the rest of the movie was pretty much was pretty much purposeful. Like they wanted to, after they meet, Obi-Wan has a clear-cut motive. I have to go to Alderaan because I have to give the plans. Luke's motive, I have to save the princess. We have to go to get a ship where they run into Han Solo. It could have been anybody, but they run into Han Solo. And so they go by the ship, and everything is sort of purposeful to actually reach a destination. Where in this movie, it's like we happen to be, and this happens to happen. Oh, we just lucked upon a guy who's like Finn, who just happens to know the garbage loophole in the new Death Star. So I'm going to read some of your comments, guys. Jung Wang says, "Oh my God, why do people like Mary Sue's? Because immature, privileged white people relate rewards without effort. Ray is their power, wish, fulfillment, fantasy." Yeah, I do believe there's something to that, to be honest with you, because um, I just the only real reason I could think, because there's nothing about her character other than she's sort of okay in a personality standpoint, but she's not someone you say you really love. But even that, there's still part of you that wants to struggle, right? I mean, you know, there's a lot of Mary Sue's in anime, and I don't know if you guys love anime, but I love anime, and there's a lot of Mary Sue's in anime. But the problem with the anime is like okay, not that Goku. I don't know if you know anything about Goku, but he's kind of a Mary Sue, but at the same time, he always has to work hard to get his next level. He doesn't just wake up and he's Super Saiyan. He works hard at it. He could scream and yell all he wants, but he has to actually, fight for 5 years in a tunnel before he can actually, reach the next level. She was just granted her power. But anyway, I'm still trying to rack my brain on all this, because I'm trying to think there's got to be more than just that, because I've already heard that argument before that you just mentioned. But at the same time, I keep thinking to myself, maybe there's more to that. Maybe there is something to like. Like, I'd like to investigate this, because I'm pretty sure there isn't, but I just want to figure it out, because maybe there's some nugget in there that we're just missing. No skills. First Order spent all Death by Saber says no skills. First Order spent all that money on training Finn. He wants to ruin an episode. Yeah, exactly. But there's Finn has training, but then they sent him. See, that's the one thing. They said he was trained as a soldier, but he worked garbage duty. Like, make up your mind. Which was he? Was he a garbage man or was he a soldier? If he was a garbage man, what was he there on the planet for? Why was he in the beginning? Why was he seeing that massacre, part of it? If he was just a garbage guy. So what was his role? He knew how to fight. He must have had some sort of brainwashing. Why? Like, there should have been something more in his backstory, and even in his going forward, like scars that come out in different ways to make a more interesting character. But he was used as a pratfall gimmick, and I didn't like it. Finn should be the cold killer like John Wick. Yeah, that would be pretty sick. he's just a precise killer. They have him like, what do you call them? What are those soldiers that are brainwashed? What the hell are they called? I can't. When they brainwash a soldier to, like, they just like flip a switch and all of a sudden he becomes like, this like insider killer. What the heck is that called? Anyway, I know there's a name for those type. It's like a secret assassin. Like, they just say the secret word and it triggers him, and then all of a sudden he just like goes off and starts shooting the rebels behind their back, like, or not the rebels, but you know what I mean. But then they have to hold him down. We gotta save Finn. Oh my God, the programming. That would have been interesting at least. But yeah, I think. But back to Rey, I think what ruined her was the lightsaber. I think the minute she touched that lightsaber, I think that was it for her character. For me, I think she was very interesting. We figured what was going. Oh, yeah, that's it. Manchurian Candidate. You're right. That's exactly what I was thinking about. The Manchurian Candidate. Yeah, that's he should have been a Manchurian Candidate. Just go off. He was a plant the whole time. They let him escape. And at least that would be purposeful. At least that would be something to that, right? There would have been that. See, that right away, we wrote a better, more interesting character in 2 seconds than what they had. So yeah, the minute she touches that lightsaber kind of throws me, because Rey should never have been compared to Luke, ever. Luke was Luke. Luke had his storyline. Luke went through it. He did his hero's journey, and that was it. They should have left it at that. JJ should have taken Rey and said, we're going to start a new character. She's going to have her new power, not new powers, but a new backstory. I don't want her looking like Luke. I don't want anything to do with her being Luke. Luke is Luke. Rey is Rey. But that's not what they did. And I think that also shot them in the foot, because they were so hell-bent on trying to use nostalgia to sort of, which they didn't need to, because Star Wars alone will sell tickets. They don't need to go that route all the time. A little nostalgia doesn't hurt. But I think that what killed Rey in the beginning, like aside from all that, was the fact that they associated Rey with Luke. So right away, when you do that, you already create a shadow of Luke Skywalker that's looming over Rey the minute she steps onto the screen. And the minute they put her in a desert planet, which was ridiculous, because that right away, look, who was born on a desert planet, I wonder? Or not born, but who was raised on a desert planet? Luke. And so right away, the association is made. She is Luke. She's the new Luke. She's dressed kind of Luke-ish, except for her goggles. You know, so they already did that. She's the chosen one. Well, if they were related, but see, we should have even said maybe not even, like, I don't even mind if they went the Anakin route with her, like she was a Force creation. I mean, the way Anakin was. It's kind of redundant, but everything in that movie was redundant. Everything in that movie was bloody redundant. So, I mean, to just state that every so often the Force has to create, you know, use the midichlorians and create a new being of perfection. Right, to make balance, to create balance in the Force. I think that would be all right if Rey was just a Force creation, which is fine. I didn't have a problem with that. But here's the thing: the minute she touches that lightsaber, and she has those visions, that screwed up her character right away. Because either she becomes part of Luke's heritage, and which they didn't go, or they still, I don't know if they will, but I doubt it. Or then what? It's like a download, because that's the only thing I think that explains her powers, is just that Luke just suddenly, the lightsaber was like the Matrix, and the minute she grabbed it, the Force awakened in her, and it downloaded everything that Luke went through and Anakin went through, and so she was just like, and then boom, she wakes up, and suddenly she has Force knowledge inside her genetic code. And she now could do, she just slowly has to awaken it as she goes through. But they never really, I mean, even if that was the truth, which is not, even if that were the case, which I don't think is, that's just sort of my idea. Not that I want to see that, by the way. Yeah, the Force download in her eyes do this. She wakes up and she's like, oh. She got downloaded with all of Anakin's experiences and Luke's experiences, which makes her, that's why she's so much better than everybody else. That might have been something, right? That might have been something we could say, hey, at least that explains her power. That explains, you know, why she could do what she does. It sort of changes what we know about Star Wars, but they've already done that 1,000 times. We know about lightsabers, but maybe the Force can do that. I don't know. Yeah, Force Napster. Just download. I was thinking the Force, what do you call it? The Force Matrix. You know, when they just download, she just sits on the chair, and then they just download all these powers. So she just uploads. She uploads all these experiences, and so that's why she just sits on the chair, and next thing you know, she knows how to use the Force suddenly. But Forster. But yeah, but they never mentioned that, and I don't think that's where he was going with it either. That's just my sort of thought process into maybe that's what they're seeing. I don't know. I'm trying, like I said, the whole point of this is trying to figure out how they could like her. So if they could, maybe if they thought that was a download or an upload, and she uploaded all her, or downloaded all her powers, then maybe I could see why. Whoa, I know Jedi. Yeah, exactly. She just wakes up and she's like, I am the Jedi now, right? And she now she's become the most powerful Jedi in the world because she downloaded all that information. But then again, Luke touched the lightsaber. Why didn't he get downloaded all of, you know, Anakin's experiences, right? But that didn't happen. So, nana boo boo. So I don't think that's not definitely not what happened. So, so now right away, the audience is thinking, right? Somehow she's either associated. I mean, how many times did we see videos or people up there like talking about like try and dissect that vision she had, right? It was like, well, she started off as Darth Vader, and then she saw Obi-Wan. We could hear Yoda. We can hear all these people in the background. So what you know, maybe it's trying to tell us, and they had all these. That's where the theories started to come in. You know, maybe who Rey is these theories, and it was all because of that stupid lightsaber that she should have never had. That lightsaber should have never appeared, ever. That lightsaber should have never reappeared. She should have been just with that staff the whole time. That's her staff. That's her. She's going through her story, and it should have just continued from there. They should have never done that, because right away, that's again putting that shadow that shadow that Luke was standing over her. Now she's got other shadows standing over her. And again, every time a new shadow climbs on top of her, it's harder for her to see the light because it's just more darkness upon her, cast down on her. So she needs to find a way to dig out of that. And she never does. She can never do it because she's... And another thing with her character is she never has a clear-cut motive for anything. She touched someone, says, here, touch this. She touches the lightsaber. She downloads things. She wants to know a little bit more. That's all. That's all she has. I want to know where my parents are, and I want to know that. She has no motive for anything, no passion towards anything. When Luke finds out that his father was a Jedi, I want to go to Alderaan, and I want to be a Jedi like my father. And then when he finds out that the Empire killed his uncle and his Aunt Maru, right? That now it's personal. He's like, no, wise guys, eh? Right now it became personal for him, right? That's so now he had a stake in this. Like he had loss, and his father, so he had actual, real personal stake in joining the fight. Whereas we still don't have, even 2 movies in, a real personal stake for. I mean, and then the loss of Obi-Wan, his mentor, which is another one. So he had a lot of reasons to want to join the fight, whereas Rey has none, zero, none. And even if you include Han Solo's actual death in this, like that it was her mentor, it's still not enough. It's not enough because they only knew each other for what, an afternoon? It's not like they spent a week together, a weekend together, or training anything together. It was just like, here's my gun. You want to see it? I know how to use this. Bugger off. Right? She just tells him where to go, and that's it. I know how to run your ship better than you. Bugger off. She just starts telling him what to do in his own ship. So there was no motivation and then nothing to get back behind. Like when you're on a hero's journey, you want to see through the eyes of the hero and say, wow, this is the person you're seeing, like the goal, like the dream, and you want to live it with them. You want to go through it with them. And when you're looking at Rey, I'm trying my best, but I can't see it. Where do you see? What are you latching onto? There's no, I want to rescue the princess. I want to do this. I want to do that. She has no desires. She has no passion. She has no dream. Her only dream is to find her parents. But that's like a selfish thing, and that has really nothing to do with what's going on between, the resistance and her. Am I offering you a J-Bob? Ray, are you offering me a J-Bob? What is a J-Bob? What's a J-Bob? I missed that one. You have to describe that. Explain that one. I don't know what a J-Bob is. Well, I mean, she has. Hey, Fan Addicts. Hey, Ben, how's it going, bud? Glad you can make it. Hey, Reimagining Star Wars. How you doing, bud? If you want to see good breakdown of TFA, look up what Santa Logic. What is anti-logic? Shane, I think you would see it line up. Yeah, maybe. I should check that out. I'll check it out. But for my purposes, I'm still trying to I'm trying to see it. See, here's the whole purpose of this exercise, guys. I'm trying to do an exercise where you try to figure out why people like certain things, right? And that sort of makes you that sort of makes you feel, not feel, but it sort of like opens you up, because you kind of feel like if we could see some smidges as to why. I know we could just easily just sit there and say, oh, they all suck and she sucks and this and that, but I think it's a fun exercise to actually try and see it from their perspective for 5 seconds. And then this way, when we actually encounter somebody who likes Rey, we can say, I tried to see it your way. I really did. I really tried. I sat there and I tried my best. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. You have to explain it to me in better terms than just, she's awesome. Oh my God, I just think she's so great. Isn't she just amazing? She's just so amazing. I just love her. That's all I get whenever I talk to people who like Rey. It's just, just because she's awesome. That's why. Get over it. You can tell that all the people I talk to have attitude. Why is my face always like a tomato? Whenever I do this thing, I think my light's too like I feel like I just went to a tanning salon and I just like see my hat. It's almost as red as my face. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So reimagining Star Wars says because Rey is an open blob that people can project on. But even still, I know people have said that, and I know what you mean. But you still need a goal. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. People could argue that Indiana Jones, aside from a few minor failures and like mistakes that he's made and the snake thing, he's almost a Mary Sue. He's got a few of those things going for him that make him sort of a Mary Sue character. I'm not calling him a Gary Stu. I'm not saying he is. There's enough to suggest that he isn't, but you can make that argument if you wanted to. However, there's still a clear-cut goal in what Indiana Jones is about, and you can sort of get behind him on just as an adventurer, and you want to go along with him and his character because he's an adventurer, and you could latch on to his Gary Stu-ness at times because he wants to, he's like got a clear goal. I want to grab the Ark, or I'm gonna, before the Nazis do. He's got a clear he's got a clear goal in his head, and we go along with him on it in a clear. Whereas she doesn't. She's never had one. It's always been someone handing her something to do. And when they say she's a strong character, I can't even understand it. She's really not that strong. I mean, physically. I mean, strong. I mean, like emotionally strong. She doesn't have anything there. She just goes along with whatever people want to do now. You want to go there? You want to go do this now? You want to go do this now? She shows lack of character in The Force Awakens when she's angry for 2 seconds. Frontman 242, how's it going? How are you? Yeah, so she shows lack of strength emotionally when she just goes along with things, and I mean, just because they didn't give her a clear-cut motive. And I kind of, that's her biggest mistake the biggest problem is no, she doesn't have her own Indiana Jones or even Skywalker sort of motive. And that's where I think her biggest issue is. She goes to meet Luke not because she wants to. She goes to meet Luke because they kind of told her, why don't you go meet Luke? I want to, and she goes for selfish. I want to know more about who I am. But she doesn't really want to engage in the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's just so weird. Hey, DMFO, how you doing? How many people are on right now? There's 7 people watching me right now. That's awesome, guys. Thank you guys for watching. It wasn't really impromptu. I was kind of lonely at home. My wife, she left me alone. No, and I decided let's talk to my YouTube friends about some Star Wars. But yeah, I just trying to like I just can't see it, and she's just sort of a. Oh, okay. I'm going to talk about a movie scene that I really love, not from The Force Awakens, but just to show you how good a character can be written in such a small amount of time, and that is, in Indiana Jones, the what's her name? Keep forgetting her damn name. Lady Jones. What's her face? Help me out, guys. Come on, help me out. My brain isn't working today. Indiana Jones' girlfriend. Anyway, the whole cantina scene. Remember, she's sitting there and she's drinking with those guys, and then Indiana Jones comes in and he's got the hat in it. Like you just see the silhouette of the hat. Remember that scene? Help me out with her name, guys. Come on, you can do better than that. Now I'm gonna have to look it up. See what you guys done did. Google. I like Google. Google is awesome. It helps me figure out things when my brain doesn't work. Because my brain is broken. Butch girl. I'm talking about Indiana Jones. Talking about Marion. God dang it. Thank you. Marion. That's it. Marion. That's her. Yeah, Marion. her scene, that opening scene to me when Indy meets her at the bar, at her bar, is one of the best written scenes in the history of movies. It shows how strong a character Marion is. Like, I mean, strong, like willfully strong and just emotionally strong. In that sequence, just when you talk about a female character that was written in such a small amount of time, she was written to perfection in that one sequence, compared to the frontman 242 says next Transformers Optimus Prime will be Mexican teenage girl. Might as well. Why not? Mexican teenage girl. So you have that sequence. So let's go back to that scene that I'm trying to say. So the first scene you see her and she's drinking with those guys, right? Which right away shows you she can hang with the guys. She drinks one of those guys under the table, but they don't show it like she does it easily. She does it like, right? That's like her last one. And the other guy goes, all cocky. Right? He just falls. He just sort of falls down to the ground. And then she wins and she takes the money. So that just shows you right away, bam, without really many words, that she's a tough chick. And she can hang with a lot of guys, like, right? She doesn't need to be coddled, she doesn't need to be held, she doesn't need to be she could legitimately Michael Hunting says, I prefer Ahsoka over Rey all the time. Yeah, well, Ahsoka's a great character. She's an amazingly realized character. That's not a hard one. She's like night and day. One actually has a destined goal and one doesn't. So anyway, so back to that scene, which I love, and just show you how in minimal amount of words you can know everything about a relationship and how strong a person is. So then they leave. She goes to the bar. She sort of like kind of is quiet for a while. And then you see the door open. You don't even see Indiana Jones. You just see the door open. You hear the door open, sorry, and the wind blows. And she's looking at the wall, if you can recall this. She looks at the wall, and then you see her shadow, and then you see just the shadow of Indiana Jones just walk closer to her. And that shadow, it just hovers above her shadow in such a way that's like so daunting, right? You just see his hat, the whole thing, and you just see that shadow over her. And right away, that sequence is just perfect. It just shows Indiana, and then she says, Indiana Jones. I never thought I'd see you darken my door again, or I always knew I'd see you again, or something like that. But right away, you see the memory of Indiana Jones has been haunting her for this, all this time, because right away that shadow on top of her just shows you that his shadow's just been lingering over her forever. And so she turns around, and then she punches him in the face, right? And he's like, and she's like, you know what you did. I know what I did, but we don't have to like it now, or something like that. And he goes, he just kind of doesn't dwell on what happens. He knows he was wrong, but he never dwells on it. But she doesn't want to let it go. She's like, screw you. I've been holding on to this forever. Without one word about what happened. Not one word. They never say anything. There's no flashback. There's no anything. It's a quick scene. She punches him in the face. You see the shadow. And then you hear just say, I was young. You left me. That just those couple of words. You knew exactly their history. You know exactly their history. She fell in love with him. She was too young. He got scared and he left in the middle of the night without her knowing, and she hated him ever since. So now you see, he goes, Marion, can I have the stone? It means nothing to you. It's just an heirloom, whatever. And so, yeah, it's exactly what you call great film writing. So she then says, but here's where she becomes extremely powerful, and this is what the subtle thing in that movie, that scene. He says to her, it means nothing to you but it's it's just a family heirloom. I'll give you some money for it. Now, at that moment, she knows she needs the money, but instead of saying to him, sure, here you go, she could just give him what he wants, because she knows she's going to do it anyway, right? She knows she's going to give him what he wants. She still loves him. She knows she's going to give it to him. But what did she do? She says, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow and get it from me. She knows she has it right here. She doesn't have to. It's in the drawer. She just can give it to him. But why does she say to come back tomorrow? Because you see the shadow? Because now the shadow becomes different. She now becomes empowered over him because he never came back the next day. So she says, you're going to come back the next day, motherfucker, because I'm telling you, you need to pick up that heirloom. So you're going to make up for not coming back. So right away, she gets her little moniker of revenge on him. And that little statement just shows you that how empowered she was, that she managed to take back the power with that one thing. That's such a great scene that I just like. And then he walks, okay, and he leaves. He had no choice but to leave and come back the next day. So she got a little bit of revenge on that. And it was just such a small scene. Hardly any words were done. And you can just see how powerful and strong and smart of a character Marion is in that one sequence. SFX without a story is a boring thing. JJ cannot save this disaster. Haha, Rey will always be part of Star Wars with the other buffoons. Rey, again, there's no saving Rey now in this 9th film. Everyone's going to say, can we save her? She's unsavable. She's unsavable unless the movie's runtime is going to be 9 hours. And even then, why do we want to sit through a 9-hour story? We've already seen her beat everybody. She can't lose. She doesn't really have any training. It's unfortunate. And I've really tried my best because the way she was set up was so awesome in her opening sequence with her scavenging was just done so well. And I really liked her in the beginning, but just the fact that there was, and we kind of wanted to, I think that's why I think everybody's wrong about us being haters, because I think the fact that all the people who tried to come up with reasons for why she was so powerful, like they didn't give us reasons. So channel after channel tried to make up reasons for why she was so powerful. Maybe she's Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter. Maybe she's Emperor Palpatine's secret daughter. Who knows? And we were just sort of like trying to figure out with all these theories why she had all this power. What could it be? Because we wanted to like her. I think deep down we wanted to like her. The minute she stepped on that island and the minute Luke tossed the lightsaber and she was a beggar the whole time, please, Luke, trade me, please, please, please. And then she sort of beats him. She sort of beats him down because he's already a pathetic wretch, and she beats Luke, and then right away we couldn't like her. She's done. Infinity Nexus, she's unavailable because when she would have been addressed and got training, we got fathers instead, and it's a shame. I like her and think Daisy Ridley well, but Johnson screwed the character. Well, I'd like to know what JJ actually had in mind. I really would, originally. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever find this out. I don't know if they're protecting each other, but I really want to know what she had in mind. I kind of want to know what that lightsaber was supposed to be, though, like, because I had my theories at the time, but I really want to know what JJ was doing, because like I said, was it a download of information that she was getting when she touched that lightsaber? Because when she gets in, the Last Jedi was a self-serving picture for Rian Johnson. He didn't care about making a movie about Star Wars. He cared about making a point and then using Star Wars characters in whatever way he wanted to make his point. And so this is the points I want to make, and I'm going to use you, and I'm going to change you to do this, and I need you to do. So like he's just rearranging the historic, canon just to fit his whatever he's trying to create. And so everyone got screwed up in The Last Jedi because, his vision and his I guess him and Kathleen Kennedy, because I guess he's not solely to blame, because I think Kathleen Kennedy but it's so hard. I don't know. Because Kathleen Kennedy was there for J.J. Abrams. So I don't know. I don't know who's to blame for this. So I'm just blaming Mickey Mouse. That's who I'm blaming. I'm blaming Mickey Mouse because I don't know if JJ or if Ryan Johnson or Kathleen Kennedy or them both are to blame. He has no respect for the lore of the previous films. No, you could tell he doesn't. Anybody who says that publicly, that if half the people hate my movie, then it's a great job. What kind of logic is that? Half the people don't disagree with my movie. It's this. I've done a great job. That just shows you he's troll from life. You know, thug life. He's troll life. They should just have troll life shirts made of Ryan Johnson literally under a bridge. Hey, Ryan Johnson. I know it's funny because I've heard people say he's a really nice person if you talk to him, but he's definitely not a nice person online, and he's definitely not a courteous person. Infinite Nexus says JJ pushed KK away as much as he could. That's why KK said she liked Johnson. He was happy to have the feminist crap in it. Again, it's funny because there's nothing wrong with having girl power in a movie, or even having diversity. The problem is that you can do that without having to take a shit on the other stuff, But it's the funny part is they can't do that. They seem to not be able to like those when you have to pat your back and rub your tummy at the same time. They seem to not be able to do that. It's like you cannot have an empowering movie without making some white man sucking the nipple off of an alien, just, like Schmeagol. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Rose Tico as except for the fact that her character sucks. The fact that she's Asian doesn't have anything to do with it. The fact that she's a horrible character has all to do with it. It really doesn't matter to me. She could have been a great character, but they don't know how to write. They don't have any clue. Like I just showed you how one little scene in a cantina in Indiana Jones was written to perfection without in there. I guarantee you there's hardly any dialogue in that. It's like very, very little dialogue. And they give you everything that you need to know about her and his relationship. And that was just one scene. And the writing Hollywood just, I don't know what happened to writing. Writing is just a dead art. It's a dead art. I think I kind of saddens me actually. Reimagining Star Wars. The agenda doesn't matter if the story is good. I mean, Avatar is an environmentalist movie. Well, yeah. I mean, everyone picked on Avatar for being, it's too much like, what was that movie with, what's his name? The one with the wolves, Dances with Wolves. They just sounds like Dances with Wolves, but with Smurfs that are big, tall. I think the thing is people fail to realize, the story was like bland. First of all, I love, he is my favorite director, one of my favorite directors. And he totally knew going in that he was trying to make a spectacle. He wasn't trying to make a deep movie. He was trying to make a spectacle. James Cameron was out to make a theme park ride out of a movie, and he succeeded. And everyone's like, well, it wasn't deep, and the story wasn't deep. He wasn't trying to make a deep story. He was trying to make a story that had a little point, and it was cute, and it was fun. And he was just, but his whole point, he even said it, he wanted a movie that people could watch more than once. And it was an event. He wanted it to be a spectacle, and it was. In fact, that movie single-handedly brought back 3D movies, whether you like it or not. People may or may not like the 3D movies, but that movie brought it into the mainstream. They had little smidgets of it here and there with that Superman Returns, I think, had like a couple of scenes, and other movies had a few scenes, but that was the first, I think, feature-long film that actually did it properly. That's why I like. Hey, can you imagine if he took over? James Cameron took over. Doesn't they own Fox now? Maybe it's possible. Star Wars by James Cameron. That would be a sick ass thing. I'm calling it. So Infinite Nexus says I'm calling it. Black Spire will be number 9. There's no way they built a park because it's been one book so far. Probably, man. I mean, Disney's going to try and pimp out all the characters they have in any way they can. They're just going to keep pumping it out. Dude, everything is wrong with Rose Tico. This is Star Wars, not Glee. No, I know. I'm not. What I'm saying is Rose Tico is shit. I'm not defending Rose Tico. Okay, don't get me wrong. Her character is the most superfluous character that ever existed in the world. She's unnecessary. She's just like tacked on, and everything about her was just cringy. I get it. I don't like her. But I'm just saying, like, it had nothing to do with her being Asian. It just had to do with her being a shit character. That's it. She just was shit the whole way along through. And it didn't matter. But again, it just comes down to the fact that here we have poorly written, poorly realized characters. But here's the thing. What gets me, though, is like we seem like we're having rational conversation. And we're rational people talking about things in rational ways. No one's really saying bad things. I still can't understand why I still read so much defense over these characters. I don't understand it. I still trying to figure out how they can relate to this. Neil Blomkamp can save this mess. There is no saving this mess. Nobody's saving this mess. This mess is it's done. It's a roller coaster. We've reached the peak and we're just heading to the bottom. There is no saving it. All we could do as Star Wars fans is hope they don't screw it up any further than it already is. Hope they salvage some retcon Luke's character to the point where he's at least, we could look him in the eyes again and call him Luke Skywalker. Okay, this is what I'm looking for, guys. This is what I like. This is what I want to see. I don't give a shit about any of the rest. I want to see a proper burial and memorial for Han Solo's character. I want to see Luke's character be redeemed, and I kind of want that whole mess with him doing this over the bed of Luke. I want that to be just completely annihilated from canon. I just want that annihilated from canon altogether. Take that scene where no sucking of the milk. That's just annihilate that from canon. No milk sucking sequence. Maybe he was a clone. I don't care. Whatever the hell they want to create. Maybe, just make sure that sequence of events never took place so that I can go back to enjoying the rest of Star Wars. Because those two, I forgave a little bit Han Solo, but I didn't really forgive. I just sort of let it go. But I can't, that one little part, the blockage in my head is that Luke Skywalker and what they did. I can't get past that. That's the one thing that the rest of the movie is almost, I don't give a damn until they fix that character. Because and another thing too, no villain. Where's the villain? We need a villain. And I don't know, bringing back Snoke. I don't want to see Snoke again. I don't. If they do, it's just hack-ass writing. Sorry, let me go back to you guys. Michael Hunting says, look at How to Train Your Dragon franchise. You have a strong female character, stronger physical, stronger than male main character, but she has her flaws. Agreed. Yes, there's a ton of great female characters who have flaws. And I think Rey, her biggest flaw is she has no flaws. So that's one giant flaw. My brain hurts. But it's true. She's got her biggest flaw is she has no flaws and she has no character. So this is the biggest flaw of all, is that she has no character and no desire, no want, no dreams, no ambition. That's her biggest problem. Like she's just a flower floating around like this, wherever the hell the Force takes her. That's it. So that's what makes her kind of an uninteresting character. Luke as a zombie devour Rey. Zombie Luke. What are you doing? And then he's just like, just noshes on her neck. And then now the next scene is them together, just sucking on the tit of the. That we find out that it was that blue, that alien creature that did something to Luke, brainwashed him. You thought he was just so ominous, but that blue milk does something to you. There you go. We just figured it out. That blue milk is to blame. That teat. There's something in that milk. It turned Luke crazy. So his next scene is like he has to go and behead that creature. So that right away he beheads that creature. It just sits there. Boom, its head falls off. blue milk devours, and then he becomes back to normal Luke. The only way to kind of save this is to have Rey made a villain the whole time, and Luke is trying to deceive her. Yeah, I mean, I've said this too. I agree with you on Rey's character. Make her a villain. That's the only way to save her character. She has to be a villain. That's her only salvation as a character. Make her into a villain. And then she can eventually go 360 and come back to the light. Maybe Finn saves her. Who knows? Somebody saves her. Kylo Ren might as well just, maybe even if they just switch sides, but at this point, it's like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to figure that out. May episode 9 fail, and Disney have sold off Lucasfilm. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think so. They spent way too much money. I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong. But I don't. I just, the amount of money they spent, they got to make their money back. Frontman 242, you are saying that Force Awakens was any good? Those movies are B movies. Are B movies with big budget. Well, I mean, The Force Awakens had good moments. It had potential to be really good. I think people willed it to be good because we wanted to see Star Wars, and we were like forgiving a lot of shit that was there. We sort of forgave it for a lot of the flaws, and then when the second one came out, they just completely, everything that we like. It's like, here you have this thing with all these missing pieces, right? And we are so involved at the pieces that we've seen that we want to, but we start making up stories to fit those pieces. And then the next guy comes out and says, "Oh, I have all those missing pieces." And then when we say, "Oh, really?" Because we were really interested in this puzzle. I mean, it had potential. It's not good yet, but we feel that if these pieces go together this way or this way, maybe it'll be something great. And then the next guy says, "Yeah, you want to see what the pieces are? These are the pieces." You're like, huh? Why'd you do that for? What was the point in that? We were liking this. Why did you do this to me? I didn't do anything to you. It's just like so weird. I wouldn't be surprised if the Star Trek isn't a trilogy. What if the ST isn't a trilogy, and it goes for another 6? Yeah, of course. No, I don't think it's ever meant to be a trilogy. I think it's meant to be continuation. Unless like, I think that's the initial thing. That's why I don't think they made a trilogy. I think they just were making it up as they went along, because they plan on to continue like the main storyline to be continued forever. I think that's what they wanted, and evolves the same way as Marvel. I think they were doing like Marvel. We're gonna have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and that's it. I don't mean Rey becomes the villain. I mean, she has secretly been the villain the whole time. Oh, you mean like Jar Jar? Jar Jar's the villain the whole time? Yeah, I would be interesting, but you'd have to really retcon that. You'd have to really go back into those, like that guy did with the Jar Jar thing. You'd have to really go back and just sort of figure that out. You'd have to really go into like really search for little patterns. You see, when she does this, she already had the power. She was the whole time. She was pretending to even though she was just secretly playing dumb, but she always had these abilities. Her and Kylo Ren. She's the one who poisoned Kylo Ren in the beginning. It's possible. It's possible. It takes a lot of imagination, and a lot more imagination than Lucasfilm has. Rey becomes space super whore. No, that's Captain Marvel. Badoom. I'm gonna go. This is good. Laters. All right. See you guys. See you Infinite Nexus. Thank you for joining. It's great. Great to see you guys, new people. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of hoping somebody who was pro Rey would join and tell me why. So the ideas are dumb. I was gonna be nice and polite, but unfortunately, nobody showed up who was pro Rey. And I find a lot of people, they don't. And I like, even when you talk to people who like the movie, they can't ever put it to words. They just can't. They're just like, well, because it's good. And I'm like, why? It's fun. Okay, but do you not see it being bad for these reasons? I don't know. I don't think about it too much. You know, that's all I really get. Not either you're kind of a meh Star Wars gut person and you just like it for the effects, or then you know, you're just latching on to, I guess. But like I said, even if you are for the fantasy, like fulfillment fantasy of having a Mary Sue character, usually, but you still need to have something that she, like, she's a Mary Sue character, but she doesn't really have a passion. And usually you can have a Mary Sue character, but she could still have a passion to follow and say, like, well, she's great at everything, but like, I mean, anime, I don't know if you guys are into anime, but probably not. But if you watch anime, there's, like I said, a ton of Mary Sue or Gary Stu characters. But the one thing anime does is it realizes the dream of that character, and you follow that character with a passion, and that character has the passion that even though it's uber powerful, you still sort of sympathize and want to follow that character's passion. But when you have a character like Rey who displays no passion of her own, other than just to do it, just to follow along, her only thing she wanted was to see her parents. And then she was told her parents are nobody. So wah, wah. Now she has nothing. They legitimately gave her the one thing that she had any interest in doing of her own volition, was to find out her parents. They went, wah, 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 and her parents are now nobody, nothings, drunk bums in the street that just dropped her off because, you know, they, for no reason that we could see. I was like, you know, and here's the way you can't retcon that, because people say, well, maybe Kylo Ren was lying. He wasn't lying. You know how you know he wasn't lying? Because he said what they always say in Star Wars when the character knows they're not lying, is they say, look inside you. You know this to be true. And so when she looks inside herself, that moment, she's like, yeah, he's telling the truth. So you can't go back and say, oh, he was just lying to you. Will Disney allow fandom menace to express our dismay with the direction of Star Wars during Star Wars Celebration? No. Definitely not. Let me tell you something. For those people who want to know why, well, Disney bought their own, if you are a believer of that, and I am, bought their own tickets to go see Captain Marvel. The reason they did that, I believe, is because of Solo. The Solo boycott worked. And people and the fandom menace, our voices were so loud and it was so effective that movie tanked, didn't make money. And the last thing that Disney wants is for boycotting to become, when we don't like something, to become commonplace. So what would you do if you don't want to see this become a trend? Well, you try to make it so that the boycotts fail. And so I don't need to search my feelings. I already know that. Front man. There's nothing to search. It's already there. I get it. It's done. It's done. It's garbage. Yeah. And so think about this. Think about this. I'm Disney, and I'm like, we already know that these people have the power to ruin one movie. So what do we do? What do we do? We cannot allow this. We cannot allow, for the life of us, we cannot allow this this to trend, this sort of behavior to keep going. So what we need to, remember the minute Captain Marvel came out, what was the stuff going on? And this was all manufactured, by the way. It was na 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 boo boo ha ha. We made so much money. Your boycott failed. Why did they do that? Why was people on Twitter doing that? Was that real people? No, those were paid people to do that. Why? Because Disney wants to put out there that your boycott and all your efforts are useless. You might as well just not try and just go see it anyway, because it's just not going to work, your little boycott. And that's why they paid for it, because they didn't want this to be a trend. Because if Captain Marvel failed, that's 2 movies that failed because of a boycott. That's something they don't want. They definitely don't want going in the future. And I'll tell you right now, they're not going to let another movie fail over this boycott. They'll buy every single ticket of every movie they have to until we just give up and stop seeing it, which is what I've always said. You don't need to boycott something. Because boycott implies that you want them to learn a lesson. They're not going to learn a lesson. The lesson to be learned is not having interest. She showed no interest in it at all, and then they're going to learn their lesson. But see, they're sort of like hedging their bets that we're just like itching to go see the movie and we really want to go see it. And we're kind of like heroin addicts that are just like, let's go see it. But we're like chained to the radiator. Like, I want to see this movie. Just, yeah. And you can't, bring yourself to watching it because you're chained to the radiator. And that's what the boycott is. So they're just hoping that the minute you realize that chaining yourself to the radiator is a useless endeavor, the crackheads are just going to go and run to go see the movie because it was worthless anyway. That's what they're hoping for. And that's kind of an insulting way to look at your fans. Right? That's not a good way to look at your fans. And that's what I think.
What the hell are you guys doing here? Hey, talking shit about my movies? I'm so sick and tired of all this. I'll tell you, you guys better all go see my movie. I don't care. No boycott. Better damn no boycott my movie.
Get out of here. Mickey. God damn it. He always comes in when I at least want him to.
I'm just telling you, mother ever. You better not screw up my movie.
Get out of here. I just took a weird turn. Wow, my face just keeps getting redder and redder. But yeah, guys. So that's really what I wanted to say. I was kind of hoping somebody would like the movie or liked Ray would come on and we'd have a discussion, but that didn't happen. But I'm going to continue one day, and we'll have that discussion because I really think that this is I'm working on this puppet, guys. I'm really hoping that one day this will be a new puppet that I have. He's not really a puppet, but I think I'm gonna. He's like but I'm gonna like cut him open here and maybe make a little thing and then have him just appear, have his own show, just hosted by Mickey one day, where he just comes on and just mouths off for a good hour.
I don't care about all you guys. Go pay money and go to my theme parks.
But yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I really that's all I really wanted to say about all this stuff. Is that I just feel like I wanted to understand the other side, and nobody came to show me the other side, unfortunately. But we did have a good discussion, guys, and yeah, man, I'm glad you guys came to come see me again. I'm starting to love these live streams, and I'm thankful for you guys coming on. So yeah, we should people like Reimagining Star Wars, go check out his channel. Death by Saber, go check out his channel. Michael Hunting, do you have a channel? Let me see. Anyway, guys, yeah. So go check out these people's channels. They're all really good Star Wars fans, and they've got good stuff going on. So go check them out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and probably have. And I thank you if you have. But I always forget to do these things after these live streams. But let's see what else we got going on. Anybody else before I go? Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got to say, guys. So thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go eat my dinner because I haven't eaten some dinner. I'm gonna make some. I'm gonna make some zoodles or alphagetti, hearty meals for hearty man. Something you just comes out in a can. It's easy to microwave. That's what I'm doing today. Just and just like heat it up and come with slurpy spaghetti sauce all over my mouth and some ramen. You need a log off sound, like yeah, like that's my log off.
Overture, turn the lights.
Oh, anyway, guys, thank you very much, guys, for showing, and I'm gonna head out now. So thank you guys for watching, and maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow if I have something else relevant to say. And I'm really thankful for you guys showing up. All right, guys. I don't know how to do this like this, right? That's what I usually do. Yeah, whatever.